Alright, so the story is complete as the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions as they took down the Chiefs dynasty and ended their dreams of a three-peat while sending a clear as day message to the rest of the NFL with an absolutely dominating performance. And it seems that this could just be the start of something even more special for Philly. But for now, this Super Bowl victory marks the end of an incredible journey for this Eagles team and the guys in that locker room, and for Jalen Hurts specifically, this really could not be more sweet as he shut up the critics once again by doing something that they can never take away from him. And that's just one of many great storylines and takeaways from the Birds' blowout victory over the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. So let's break it all down starting right now. What's up guys? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And they freaking did it, man. I mean, our Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions once again, and words cannot describe how good it feels. But to just soak it all in, let's listen to the words of the legend Merrill Reese on the Super Bowl winning call.
3, 2, 1. It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history. Eagles fans, savor it and rejoice.
Rejoice indeed, because again, the Eagles freaking did it. Oh, and by the way, they did it in absolutely dominating fashion. I mean, it's just crazy thinking about it because the Kansas City Chiefs were a dynasty, a team that was going for their third straight Super Bowl victory, something that had never been done before, and they got some of the greatest individuals in the sport on that team, including, of course, the face of the league and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Patrick Mahomes. Yet, none of that mattered, as the Eagles absolutely beat the brakes off of Mahomes and the Chiefs all night long. And I mean, the final score may say 40-22, but let me tell you, it wasn't even remotely that close. Like, at no point did the Chiefs have control of this ballgame, and for 4 straight quarters, the Eagles just handed it to them, and when it was all said and done, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and the Birds walked away as Super Bowl champions. I personally couldn't be happier, the city of Philadelphia couldn't be happier, and we're going to have a parade on Broad Street, man, so I just cannot wait. But first, let's take a look at the celebrations taking place right after from the Eagles, from fans back in Philly, and also from myself.
Best in the world. World champs, we're the best in the world.
Let's go! Man, Super Bowl champs, man. 2025, bro. Eagles, man. You know what's going on. Let's go.
God's blessed us very much. He gave us all the talents to be able to get here. We didn't really ever care what anyone thought about how we won or their opinions. All we want to do is win. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah! Boy, I appreciate you. Let them know. Let them boys know, man. Tell them get off your back.
Hey, appreciate y'all, Philly, man. It's been a crazy journey, and we got it done for y'all, man. I'm gonna see y'all at that parade, though. We world champs, and they can't take it away from us ever. We immortalized, baby.
Philly, I love you. This for y'all. Oh!
I'm just so glad that we can get it done for the city of Philadelphia, man. This is the best place in the world. Philadelphia, we can't wait to get back to celebrate. This is very special.
I mean, man, what else can I say besides how special is this? I mean, this win was special, this team is special, this season was special, and this is something that this city of Philadelphia and Eagles fans everywhere will never forget, man. So cherish this, enjoy it, because you just can't take moments like this for granted. Now, as far as the actual game goes, things became enjoyable rather quickly for Eagles fans, as on the Birds' second drive, they put together a nice string of plays before Jahan Dotson, of all people, caught a deep, beautifully placed pass from Jalen Hurts to set up a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. where Jalen Hurts then brotherly shoved it in to give the Eagles an early 7-0 lead. Now, unfortunately, their next drive resulted in an interception as Jalen Hurts underthrew A.J. Brown after being hit on third down, but luckily, they got it right back, and a deep shot to A.J. this time eventually led to a 48-yard field goal for Jake Elliott, which he nailed, so the Eagles were then up 10-0. And then what followed might be the best defensive sequence of plays I have ever seen, as Josh Sweat sacked Patrick Mahomes on first down, and then he followed it right up, getting half a sack along with Jelix Hunt on the very next play, and then on 3rd and 16, Patrick Mahomes was picked off by the rookie Cooper DeJean on what was his first career interception, and to make it even better, he returned it all the way back for the score to put the Eagles up 17-0. I mean, just what a moment this was for Coop to get his first career pick and a pick 6 at that on his birthday in the Super Bowl. Like, that's just amazing, so shout out to him, and also look at Nick Sirianni's live reaction to the whole thing. I mean, that's just freaking awesome. But the Eagles' dominance was just getting started, as a couple possessions later, the Chiefs were backed up near their own goal line, and Mahomes threw another pick, this one to linebacker Zack Baun, who made an incredible diving interception. And also, massive credit to Josh Sweat, who made a play once again, this time pushing Joe Thuney back into Mahomes, which caused the inaccurate pass and the pick. And overall, what a truly incredible effort it was by Vic Fangio's defense in the first half, as they allowed just 23 total yards to Mahomes and the Chiefs, while also getting 13 pressures, 7 QB hits, 3 sacks, 2 picks, and a pick 6. And they also allowed just a mere 1.2 yards per play, which is insane to say the least. So, again, shout out to the defense for the job they did in that first half, but spoiler alert, the dominance was not done yet. Getting back to it though, that pick from Baun set the Eagles up in prime field position, and they capitalized right away as Jalen Hurts hit A.J. Brown on a crossing route, and he took it in for the score to give the Eagles the lopsided 24-0 advantage at halftime. And after a longer than usual break at half, the Birds got right back to dominating, as back-to-back sacks from first Jordan Davis and then Josh Sweat once again killed the Chiefs' opening drive, so they punted, and the Eagles went right down the field again, with Jalen Hurts making play after play with both his legs and his arm, and Jake Elliott was eventually able to get more points on the board by way of a 29-yard field goal. Then, back out on defense, Avonte Maddox, all people, made a big play and got a pass breakup on 4th down, so shout out to him after the rough season that he's had. And that play also set up what was essentially the dagger, as on the first play of the Birds' drive, Jalen Hurts faked the handoff on play action and then unleashed an absolute bomb downfield to DeVonta Smith, who brought in the beautifully placed pass for the touchdown from 46 yards out. And this incredible play from Hurts to Smitty put the Eagles up 34-0 late in the third quarter, which is good for the largest deficit that Pat Mahomes has ever been in his entire career. And it came against the Birds in the Super Bowl, so yeah, I mean, that felt pretty good to say the least. Now, the Chiefs did finally get into the end zone on their next drive after a couple of impressive deep shots to the rookie Xavier Worthy, but the Eagles answered right back with a 48-yard field goal from Jake Elliott. And then on defense, Milton Williams made another huge play as he stripped the ball from Mahomes as he was trying to throw, and then eventually recovered it himself, which just added even more onto the total domination that we saw from the Birds' defense on the day. I mean, 3 takeaways and 6 sacks on no blitzes is absolutely crazy. Oh, and a huge part of that were the performances we saw from both Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, as each of them were just incredible. I mean, Sweat ended with 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 QB hits, while Milt had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit, and of course the sack, fumble, and recovery. So shout out to both of them. Obviously, both are going to be free agents this offseason, and there is uncertainty as to whether Philly will be able to retain them or not. But regardless of whether they're back or not, as Thomas R. Peterson said, both just became a major part of Eagles history, as they were huge in helping the Eagles get the Super Bowl victory. And you know who else was huge? That would be none other than the kicker Jake Elliott, who nailed a 50-yard field goal right down the middle after the fumble to give the Eagles a 40-6 advantage in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's no secret that Elliott struggled mightily at times this year, but he came up clutch when it mattered the most in the big game, as he went 4 for 4 on his field goals, 3 of them from 48 plus, and he was also perfect on his extra points as well. Plus, he also set several Super Bowl records for a kicker in this performance too, so shout out to Jake the Meg for stepping up. But moving on, the Chiefs did score a couple of garbage time touchdowns on their next 2 drives to end the game to just make things look a little bit better for Mahomes and company. But in the end, it didn't matter one bit, as the Eagles kneeled it down and became Super Bowl 59 champions, and the celebration was on. As the Eagles had finished the story, they had taken down the dynasty and ruined the three-peat, and they also got redemption on the Chiefs for what happened 2 years ago, fulfilling what A.J. Brown said, being, quote, "We can't rewrite history, but we can make it even." So again, that the Eagles did, and perhaps nobody deserved it more than QB1 himself, Jalen Hurts. Or should I say Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts, as Philly's leader earned that title after he went 17 for 22 for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also adding 72 yards on the ground and another score. And I gotta say, after all the crap that Hurts has had to deal with over the years with people criticizing him and doubting him and just refusing to give him the credit that he deserves, seeing him not only win a Super Bowl, but also seeing him win Super Bowl MVP just feels so good, and he seems to feel that way too.
The perseverance now that you have finally made it to the top of the mountain.
It's not normal. It's been a very unprecedented journey, and the journey's, it's always the beginning until it's the end. And I think means a lot. Quantifying all that work over the years.
Man, I really just could not be any happier for Hurts. Like, again, he deserves it more than anybody, and he proved to everybody in this game once again why he deserves to be mentioned among the elite quarterbacks in this game. I mean, all season, everybody's complained about the lack of individual numbers, but the fact of the matter is, Hurts had his best individual performances in the 2 most important games of the season, being the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl. And in the big game specifically, the Chiefs did a really good job of slowing down Saquon Barkley, yet the offense was still phenomenal because Hurts was phenomenal both through the air and on the ground with his legs. And on top of that, this is now the second time that Hurts has played Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and it's been twice now that we've seen Hurts outperform Patrick. So, safe to say, that's incredibly impressive, and how many other quarterbacks can say that? Not to mention that Hurts did it on the biggest stage possible both times, this time getting the win. So, again, I mean, this guy's elite, and I could not be any happier for him. And I really feel that way about a lot of these guys. Like, this team just has some great stories, and there's so many players that I'm just thrilled for, whether it's Saquon Barkley getting both a ring and the most rushing yards in a single season ever in his first year in Philly, or Zack Baun becoming one of the best defensive players in football and getting a ring back in his old home stadium, or DeVonta Smith winning it in his hometown back where he lost his high school state championship, or A.J. Brown getting his first ring after being traded here by Tennessee, or Brandon Graham getting his second ring and likely going out on top with retirement looming, and I could just keep on going to guys like Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Josh Sweat, Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, Jordan Mailata. Like, the list just goes on and on and on, but I feel like it's only right to give a specific shout out to head coach Nick Sirianni, because this is a guy that has just gone through so much adversity. I mean, everybody wanted him fired after last year. Nobody believed in him. Everybody was clowning on him, and yet here he is, a Super Bowl champion. I mean, what a way to prove that you are an elite head coach and an amazing leader of men, while also proving all your doubters wrong in the process. And overall, I mean, just what a journey this team has went on. I mean, they have just come so far since the Hurts and Sirianni began back in 2021, to the point where now both of those guys have a very real shot to go down as the best quarterback and head coach in franchise history. Meanwhile, we've seen tons of phenomenal talent and people join this thing along the way. I mean, Howie Roseman deserves a tremendous amount of credit for the job that he's done just assembling this extremely talented roster. And when we look back on it, I think we'll look back at the Super Bowl 59 champion Philadelphia Eagles as probably the best Eagles team of all time. I mean, they were that good. But the scary part is, I mean, they could just be getting started. Like, look at this team. Look at this roster. They are built for sustained success because they got a ton of young talent, especially on defense, where they also have the best defensive coordinator in the league, who, by the way, is going to be here for the foreseeable future, it sounds like. Meanwhile, offensively, they have most of their elite talent wrapped up for many years to come already, so most of their main core guys will remain intact. Plus, we got the best GM in the business in Howie Roseman, and a quarterback and head coach duo that just keeps on winning. So, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this could just be the beginning to a special era of Eagles football, and if what they did to the Chiefs in this game wasn't a clear message to the NFL that they run things now, then I don't know what is. But all that being said, let's just celebrate this Super Bowl win, this team, this season, because again, it was all just so special. And I also want to thank you guys for all the support you've given me as I've covered this team throughout the entire year. It really does mean the world to me. So again, I thank you for a great season. And you guys already know that I'm not stopping. I got a ton more content coming in this offseason. I got some stuff planned. Obviously, there's going to be free agency, the draft, OTAs, training camp, all that stuff. I'm going to be covering it all. So if you guys don't want to miss out on that, then subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, give me your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions on the Eagles Super Bowl victory over the Chiefs. I mean, man, just give me your thoughts on this team, this season, everything. It was so special. And also, leave a like down below. Let's see if we can get to 800 likes on today's video. And if you want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this one out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.